There in the center is the Hagia Sophia. Our guide taught us it's been built and destroyed and rebuilt 3 times. In the 330s, Constantine the Great built this city and built the Hagia Sophia a little bit smaller than it is today, and it got destroyed in the year 410. The Emperor Theodosius II rebuilt it in the year 410, and it lasted until the year 526. In the year 526 AD, there were riots. The Emperor Justinian was to blame for some of it, and he rebuilt the Hagia Sophia again in the year 526, and now it has lasted until this day. What you're looking at is the Hagia Sophia from the year 526 with the added minarets, because the Muslims, the Ottoman Turks, made it into a mosque when they conquered in 1453. We were inside there today. They were having Ramadan as a mosque. We're in the Bosphorus Straits and looking across the water to the other side. That is Asia. That's the Asian side of Turkey and Istanbul. So that's the beginnings of the Asian continent, and then you cross the Bosphorus and you're in Europe. So this is the European side of Istanbul.
Meaning place. It was used as a horse race track. But in the history, let me summarize a little bit. So the King Pisa's came here, the city of Byzantium was officially established, Constantinople, and until 1453, over the centuries, that huge Roman Empire started to shrink and shrink and shrink and shrink. And in the year 1453, the year the Ottomans took the city, that small triangle area was the last remaining area of that huge Roman Empire.
Wow.
And from my hometown, Bursa, Ottomans, over the centuries, they expanded.
Here in Istanbul, this is the Constantine column. So it's about 1,700 years old, but it used to be covered in gold. And the Crusaders came here in 1206. The Crusaders were headed to Jerusalem, but they stopped here and they saw the riches of Constantinople, and they began to take control of the city from the Eastern Roman Empire. So the Crusaders looted this whole town for 57 years. They forced the Eastern Roman Emperor to stay in his palace, and the Crusaders from Europe, promised by the Pope to have eternal life, to fight for whatever they were fighting for. But they stopped here and they just looted the city and lived here for 57 years, and they stole the gold off of this Constantine column in the year 1206 until the 1260s.
That I knew.
Maradona, Pele, they were also quite famous.
This is a column made by the Greeks when they defeated the Persians and 400 or 500 years before Christ, and they made a statue of snakes encoiled amongst each other with a snake head on the top. But it was put in Greece and then moved here to Constantinople by one of the emperors. But again, the Crusaders in the 1200s looted this and broke off the golden head of the snake and used it for their money. So the Crusaders looted this monument and that monument of the Constantine Tower.
Yeah.
So here near the Emperor's Palace, this is an Egyptian obelisk. So this Egyptian obelisk was brought here by Emperor Theodosius in the 390s. It came from Egypt. I'm here near the site of the ancient Roman palace of Constantinople, and in the 390s AD, Emperor Theodosius brought this Egyptian obelisk from Egypt just because he could. He was the emperor. And this is an actual Egyptian obelisk from about 700 BC. It's an original. And it was brought here. Some of the Crusaders cut it in half, and we're learning about why they cut it. but of course the Catholic Crusaders looted the whole city, and so a lot of this was damaged. But I'm going to zoom in and you can see close up the hieroglyphics about the god Ra that the Egyptians worshipped. So this is a fountain that was a gift by Kaiser Wilhelm II to the Sultan of the Ottoman Empire during the late 1800s. And then just behind it is the Hagia Sophia. The Hagia Sophia is just behind me, and we're in the middle of Istanbul, Turkey. When we look across the street, we're looking at the Blue Mosque. There's the entrance to the Blue Mosque. The Blue Mosque was built in 1609. But the Hagia Sophia was built in the 300s by Constantine and his mother Helena. So the Hagia Sophia was built as a church, a megachurch for the Christian Roman Empire that formed. But you have the Muslims who took over in 1453 and turned it into a mosque. Hello?
Late because of the noon time.
Hoş geldin.
There's a Facebook page for it. Yeah. Yeah.
I think he knows in Fort Lauderdale.
Is that
Yeah.
Oh,
Excuse me, this is a long shot, but you know so-and-so.
and
And
you're
I
like,
said, yeah.
we're related.
Just to the left of the Hagia Sophia, there used to be a statue of Constantine the Great used to stand right there. And the statue has fallen down. I am standing underneath the Hagia Sophia here in Istanbul. This is the greatest, most beautiful sight to come see. You got to see this, man. It's incredible. Go.
Okay, so I'm here in Istanbul, and over here behind me, I just want you to see this small marble pillar.
Yeah.
This is what Romans said was the center of the world, and they used to measure from here to everywhere by the stone right there. So now we've been north, south, east, and now we're at the center of the world.
Wow.
Okay, let's go.
All right. Right next to the Hagia Sophia. Port Bethany has to wear a head covering.
Unfortunately, we don't have any access to the upper gallery. Which is used on Friday noontime service. Just like in Catholic churches, like Sunday service. On Friday. The imam goes up to the stage. But not up to the top level. Because the top level symbolic of the Prophet Muhammad. So about 2 steps below. Showing their respect to Prophet Muhammad.
I'm standing inside the Hagia Sophia that they've converted into a mosque, and this is Ramadan. It was a museum and they made it into a mosque again. The imam is reciting the noon prayers.
From the Father. Okay, so we're standing inside the Hagia Sophia. Now, the prayers of the imam are very loud. This is Ramadan, and this place was a museum because it was a Christian church built by Constantine, built again by Emperor Theodosius, and then built a third time by Emperor Justinian. And the Eastern Roman Empire existed here. This was their church.
But in 1453, the Muslims, the Turks, the Ottomans conquered this place and turned it into a mosque. For a while, this place was a museum, but the Muslims have turned it back into a mosque, and now they're celebrating Ramadan. Behind me, the men can enter in and pray and bow down, but the women on this side, you'll notice the women are separated over there. One more thing we learned about this mosque is there is the names of Muhammad and his children and his grandchildren are printed in the circles above us. So those are the names of Muhammad and his children, his grandchildren, to further the lineage of the Sunni Islam. This is a Sunni mosque, and the Shiites don't come into mosques. So it's very humbling to be here to pray for the people. Consider the Turks, consider the Asian peoples here, and we're thankful that we got to be here in the middle of Hagia Sophia. One more theme we always find in these Greek-built buildings is huge doors. Very big doors to enter into the Hagia Sophia. This is the entrance to the Hagia Sophia, now a mosque. You can hear the imam starting the prayers. Mother Mary holding baby Jesus, and then to the right you have Emperor Constantine offering the empire to Christ, and then on the left you have Emperor Justinian, who rebuilt the Hagia Sophia, offering the Hagia Sophia to Christ. MP above Mary means Mother of God, or MT, I'm sorry, MT, Mother Theos. This is the back side of the Hagia Sophia. This version of the Hagia Sophia was built by Emperor Justinian after the riots of 532. So it's the third version because the first was built by Constantine the Great. It got destroyed in 410. Second version was built by Emperor Theodosius in the 400s, and then that got destroyed in the riots of 532, and then Emperor Justinian had to rebuild it again. So what you're looking at right now is built in 532.